Good morning. Good morning, all. Welcome to today's webinar presented to you by the Learning Space. Today, we're going to be talking about the power of AWS, which is your Amazon Web Services. So, the Learning Space is a capacity building company that brings to you state-of-the-art training services covering DevOps, routing and switching, security, virtualization, cloud computing, just to mention a few. So if you are interested in taking any course, please contact the Learning Space. Today, we're going to be covering introducing the power of AWS. If you are an individual, or if you are a business, or if you are a startup, or if you just need solution for your idea or to take your business forward, then you are in the right place. Welcome again, and we hope you are keeping safe. My name is Kabiru Mohammed Aliyu. Thank you for joining. I will just take some time to introduce the power of AWS, right, in summary. You are a business, you are an individual that have an idea, like I've mentioned. You are worried about cost of infrastructure. You're worried about time that it will take you to learn various technologies and solutions. You are worried about how to learn, how to operate an infrastructure, be it your network, be it your security, be it any of your cloud productivity suites. Then you are in the right place, because AWS gives you on-demand resources, meaning that you have access to resources on demand that you actually need. So you don't need to buy infrastructure that you don't need. It gives you the ability for pay as you go. That means you can actually pay for what you need. And this is very good from a business perspective. That means you can stop your services and continue your services. You could upgrade your services, which is mean you could scale your services. You are not also committed to a long-term commitment in terms of you being locked down. Because once you buy an infrastructure, a physical hardware, you have to maintain it, you have to service it, and you have to take care of it for a period of time. AWS has revenue in excess of, mixed revenues in excess of $280 billion. This is fantastic because they have invested a lot of money in infrastructure. So you as a business, you as an individual have an idea, you don't necessarily need to, right? Then also they give you services like online stores, infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, software as a service, and other services. AWS have also introduced AWS Outposts, meaning that you could have an AWS infrastructure also within your premises if you have a business justification for it. So at this juncture, again, welcome. My name is Kabiru Mohammed Aliyu. Allow me to welcome or to introduce the panelists. Today, we have panelists that are young and are ready to talk about this particular topic. So we should sit back and just see how to have a conversation with them. So I'll be introducing the panelists, starting from Aniebet. So Aniebet is the founder of Virtual Formatics, and he has a passion for technology. He has a passion for technology, and I'll also be introducing Titi as well. So Titi, is a cloud productivity specialist, and she's going to be talking to us about some of the issues or some of the interesting issues around AWS, right? So, and then we also have Insika, which is the chief, the cloud solution executive for Virtual Formatics, and he will be also covering a number of topics for us. So these are our panelists that we have today, and we hope that you keep your questions coming on. You keep your Q&A. So please post your questions in the Q&A section. Let's just enjoy the topic today, and let's enjoy the conversation. So at this juncture, I'll be handing over to Aniebet Inamdi to give us a short presentation on introducing the power of AWS. So as he presents, please keep your questions coming, keep your interaction. We are also live on, we're also going live on Facebook as well. So you could join us from that perspective as well. So thank you very much. I'm handing over now to Anebet. Thank you.
So thank you very much, Mohammed. Thank you everyone for being on the call, and you're welcome to this session. So within the next few minutes, we'll be talking about AWS and what it offers to you as a business person and also as an individual. Okay, moving ahead. AWS is one of the world's most comprehensive and broadly adopted cloud service provider. And would say at this age and time, they are the greatest cloud service provider, and they offer a wide variety of service. That's what makes AWS stand out, from database to infrastructure as a service, which we are going to be dwelling on today, to security, to network, to management, because it's important that you are able to manage the infrastructure that you are setting up. So AWS provides you with all that. Because we understand that there are various category of attendees on this call, so I would just like to go through the basics of what cloud computing is before we talk about the cloud service provider, which is AWS. So cloud services are just on-demand services accessed over the internet in the basic terms, which means you don't own the software. You don't have to invest upfront for the for the hardware. All you need to do is to pay a cloud service provider like AWS and the likes to provide you with this service. And with that, it enables you focus more on the core, your core business activities, rather than trying to maintain operations on your daily infrastructure. So just to portray more on the point, the image that you have here talks about the basics of cloud computing. So before the introduction of cloud computing, how we run infrastructures is that you see the first one on the right here is the on-prem type infrastructure, which the business has to provide the servers upfront. You'd have to buy your servers, your storage, your database, your applications. Then you now need a network engineer and all security engineer and all other IT professionals. And let's say you want to deploy a simple application, be it a mobile app or all that. It can take you close to 3 to 4 months to get your equipment down to your country, regarding the looking at the shipping time and every other thing that you need to look at. The shipping time, now when it arrives, you need to now do the clearing in your own country and all that. When it now gets to your office, you need to spend so much time trying to configure and then to trying to configure and to build that infrastructure to work in the way you want it. But with the introduction of cloud computing, within 5 minutes, you can easily spin up a VM and run your application, because most of the time we spend so much time trying to set up the infrastructure that we even forget about the core of our application, because we are engrossed in the process of trying to set up the infrastructure. So with cloud computing, you don't need to spend so much time trying to set up. It's the infrastructure is readily available. It's just you bring in your idea and implement. So I think that's the way to go in the 21st century. So most people would think, okay, why do I need AWS? It's not a must. Yes, it's not a must to understand what the Amazon Web Service offers or any other cloud platform. But as a business person, as an individual, you need to upskill. You need to have the relevant knowledge of how the services that you're consuming works, so that you'll be able to take more critical business decisions. So the deployment methods that is available to in AWS. So we have the on-premises, which you can choose to run your applications on-prem. That's supported. And then you have, which is the first one here, then you have the hybrid. This is very good because in terms of for some organization or some countries that require that their data still stays local, and that, so you can decide to run a hybrid infrastructure where either all your workload is both on the cloud and then off the cloud in your premises, or you choose to put some certain workload on the cloud and then the others on your premises, or you can go full cloud where you place all your infrastructure on the cloud. So these are the three deployment methods that you have. So you have on-prem, hybrid, and on the cloud. Depending on your business use cases, different of these methods can be peculiar to you. Your business might support that you have an hybrid infrastructure or a full cloud infrastructure. So depending on, that's what enables you to make those certain business decisions. So moving forward, how does this work? So basically, AWS owns the infrastructure. They buy the hardware, they take care of all the network connections, and then all you need to do is just to provision the service that you need. What are the types of services that you might need? You might need a database, you might need storage, you might need compute, which means your processor, your processor and your RAM, basically, and the networking and the security. Those are the types of services, the basic types of services that you might need. So all you need to do is just pay for the service, and AWS takes care of the hardware, of the operations, and all those other types of infrastructures. So why is AWS? How does it benefit businesses? Most of the time, as I mentioned earlier on, companies and organizations need to pay upfront for their infrastructure. And this brings in a whole lot of guesswork. Like when deploying your the first instance of your application, you don't know what the compute memory that is going to take. You don't know the storage. You don't know the amount of users that are going to be accessing it. So basically, you're just going to be doing guesswork, which for a business person is not so efficient. Instead of let's say, for instance, you are predicting that your application is going to take 1 terabyte of storage, 5 vCPUs, and then 8 gig of RAM, and then within 2-3 weeks into the application, your need increases to 10 terabytes. How do you cater for all that? With your on-prem, you can't do that, because it means you need to now start ordering for new hardwares. You need to now start looking for engineers to increase this capacity for you to be able to scale up and all this. But when you're using the cloud services in AWS, you don't need to bother about this, because it supports scaling out and scaling up and scaling down. So if at the end of the day you see that the infrastructure that I'm using is too expensive, or it's not all I need, is an overkill, you can scale down, thereby reducing your cost. And it's very okay for a business person, because over time you can always review your cost back and forth. So you need to stop the guesswork, and then make sure you pay attention to what your spending is. And this enables you to do that. So you start small, and then you scale up. As your application grows, as the requirement grows, you grow with it also. So I believe this is a very important tool for business owners, and also for individuals also, to understand this particular concept. So stop spending money running and maintaining data centers. As I mentioned earlier on, if you have to do all this, so most of the time is that you have to you'd have to go to purchase the hardware, which sometimes you can't even guarantee the how long it's going to last. Some hardwares, within a year or two, they start giving you issues. You spend more money on buying the hardwares. You spend more money on landscape, on maintenance, on different utilities, on payrolls, because with all this, you need to now have a whole lot of engineers in your workplace, in the data centers, monitoring. You need to have remote support level 1, level 2, level 3. When you calculate all these investments, why not just take all these headaches off you, and then just focus on your core business, which is running your core. Focus on your core business needs, so that you are providing your customers with the best service that they can require, instead of focusing on running the day-to-day operations. Most organizations are running a full-blown IT infrastructure, but let's say most organizations that just need to run a simple app, but then they will go ahead to run a full-blown IT environment, which is really not profitable to them, rather than just outsourcing it and then just focusing on their core business requirements that they need to focus on. So trade the capital expense for variable expense. So instead of paying upfront and taking all those costs? Why not pay for what you use, and then if you're not making use of it, you scale down? It's a very efficient way to run your business. And for individuals also, if you have an application where you just want to try out, there's no point investing a whole huge capex on something that you're not sure of. Try it out first on a cloud service, and then if it works fine, if you want to run hybrid, you run. I think this is just the way to go for the 21st century businesses. So it's very easy to launch. As just purchasing on the point I said earlier on, for you to run on-prem infrastructure, it will take you weeks, if not months, to actually get all the skills that you need, all the hardware that you need. But with AWS, it's just within minutes. All you need to do is just log on to the AWS web service, or you get a partner to actually do your analysis, and then do the analysis of what you're going to need, so that it enables you to take more business critical, more analytical decisions. So you can get a partner, which like Virtual Informatics can help you do that, to check your applications and then look at the infrastructures that you might need, and then within minutes you are up and running, instead of spending months trying to deploy. This makes your business agile, which at any point in time you can add any services and then take down any services without impacting on the hardware, and also without your customers complaining of downtime, because AWS 99% uptime with Thunder, you'd never hear that it goes down, but your on-prem infrastructure can go down. So why not create an agile business from the scratch, instead of trying to fix problem by reacting to issues that might come up? So some of the products that are available in AWS, you have the analytics, you have the application integration, the AR and VR, then you have cost management. The cost management, I'll just talk about it in a bit. It's important that this cost management is important, because most of the time you might be running services that you don't need, or you might think that you're running an effective infrastructure, but meanwhile you are spending on things that are not really necessary to you. So with the cost management, it checks your cost and then gives you advice on, maybe, okay, if you were running 3 terabytes of storage before, and then what you're only making use of over time is just 2 terabytes or 1 terabyte, that advice will see, okay, this is the amount you're spending on cost. Why not take down this, and then leave this particular one, and then when you need it, you now scale up. So this gives you insights for you to be able to manage your costs, because there's no point spending more when you only need less. So, and also, if it predicts that within this month to this month you actually spent $500 on your infrastructure, and then the next month you also spend $500, it can enable you predict. And then for financial persons, it can enable them predict over a period of time that, okay, at this point in time, this is the amount you're going to be spending. So it can enable you to do your proper budgeting, instead of this just enables you to take off all the guesswork in your environment. So business application, compute, which is the infrastructure as a service, then container service, containerized service. So this is another interesting concept that developers and other techies need to look into, because with the container services, it enables you to run a more smarter infrastructure, instead of like, if your application is going down, instead of all your infrastructure going down, just do microservices and segment all part of your application, so that at every point in time, if you want to upgrade, you can easily upgrade, and then you can do a whole lot of stuff with the containers running microservices. So customer engagement, developers tool, end user computing, there's a whole lot of services. That's why Amazon stands out, and then still at the moment they hold the highest revenue in cloud service providers. So they have a wide variety of services, which most are not included in this slide. So AWS is, I would say, they are the king when it comes to cloud. So at this point, I would say thank you for your time. And then I'll be handing over to Mohammed now. Thank you, everyone.
Yes, thank you, Annabeth, for that presentation. So we'll just be moving on. shortly. Thanks all for listening, and thanks all for for being on the call so far. So basically, what Annabeth has covered is the power around AWS, just from an introductory perspective. As we bring you more webinars, we would start going a bit into some of those functionalities that the AWS provides. But however, though, some of the things that it covers was around time to taking your ideas to market. So if you're a business, and we all know that business nowadays must operate with technology, this period has also further strengthened the reason why we must. Business technology is not your core, right? And it's only your enabler. So it simply means that you must make sure that you choose technology that would make you more efficient, because so that you can focus on your core objective. So he spoke about cost effectiveness or efficiency as well, where you can manage your costs, increase your speed and agility, meaning that if you are having a peak period, you can scale up your infrastructure easily and scale down once you are done with those peak periods, right? It also has a variety of services, and they have invested as well a lot of money in infrastructure. So it simply means that you could have the best of both worlds. Even if you want to consider having on-prem cloud platform, you still need a backup platform as well. So AWS can be your backup platform, or any of the hyperscalers, right? Any of the hyperscalers from that perspective can be your backup as well. So you because of the globalization as well, your services are being consumed by somebody sitting somewhere outside your locale, right? That means you need to be able to serve the client more efficiently, and you need to put your services on an infrastructure that is very easy to access in terms of speed, because there's nothing more annoying once you go to a site, or you try and access the services and it is slow. Imagine if you're trying to do a transaction, or pay somebody, or do a transfer, or just submit a request for a goods to be moved from point A to point B. If it is slow, it affects you, because your day becomes a bit disrupted, right? Because the things that you are supposed to have achieved, is going to be delayed. Either you stop accessing it and then you come back later to do it again. By that time, your customers are not happy, might not be happy with you, because you have not responded to the things that they were expecting from you. So the power of AWS gives you a lot of things under your control. So at this juncture, we'll begin to move to the panelist discussion, and we leave you with the philosophy. In learning you will teach, and in teaching you will learn. So if you're on this call today, you want to find out more about our courses and our programs, please reach out to us. We will post the email address on the chat functions. Please keep your Q&A questions coming. Thank you. So we'll be moving on now to the Q&A, to the panelist discussion. Thank you. So basically, we will start with asking a question to Insika. How can organizations save money and still get quality of service? I think this question is an interesting one, because it combines the need to save money, but without compromising on quality of service. Thank you, Insika.
Morning. Thank you, Mohammed. Yeah, because most companies are spending way too much on the computing and storage than necessary, especially on servers, engineers, routers, and more. Try to set up a data center or infrastructure. So, but apart from money, the organization will spend more time on infrastructures and maintenance and purchase But with AWS, the organization can save money for the infrastructure, IT infrastructure as a whole, and have less burden on IT infrastructure maintenance, and use the cost of operation. That is really important thing, cost of operation, and significantly compared to traditional data center, also reduce the migration cost, because some company can now say the migration cost will be high, but with AWS, it's not high. So organization can consume service according to their requirement under pay-as-you-go model. For that pay-as-you-go model, just as whatsoever you use, you pay. There's no hidden cost. So without over provisioning, it can also minimize costs by running multiple service options without losing quality and performance. Because quality and performance are the key organization. So an AWS has what we call a model called a pay-as-you-go model, which means that pay only for an individual service you need for as long as you use them. So it is similar to how you pay for your water. Let me put it that way: how you pay for your water and light. So you can only pay for the water and light you consume. As an example, you consume once, but once you stop using them, stop consuming them, there are no hidden costs or additional costs or termination fee. So it really, really helps in terms of saving costs. So, okay, let me give like an example again. When it comes to, okay, let's go like e-commerce site. If you run an e-commerce site, you will have what we normally call peak hours where more customers visit your site. So with the pay as you go and auto scaling, your server bandwidth or the IT infrastructure will increase the capacity to manage your peak hours, so that you won't have anything to worry or anything to, your downtime or what, and you will only pay for those peak hours. So it saves a lot of money in terms of what you want and you pay for it. There's no kind of big project for that, because they make it easy as you normally something pay as you use it. So that is AWS. It will help you to save costs and still the quality service. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much for that, Insika. I think you really spoke around the essence of why consider taking your platform to a cloud provider like AWS. Very very spot on, because some businesses cannot even afford any downtime. So quality is very important, and the fact that you could still get the best of quality at and pay for what you are actually using. So that makes it even more fantastic. So moving on to to TTLIO. So with TTLIO, we're going to be asking, what are the benefits of AWS in any organization? Thank you.
Everybody. Thank you, Mohammed, for the question. The benefits of AWS in any organization is very, very unlimited. But I'll cite some example to you. One of the benefits of AWS in any organization, one is easy to use. AWS has a very good user-friendly interface called Amazon Management Console. This is designed to allow application providers, ISVs, and vendors to quickly and securely host their application, be it an existing application or a new SaaS, software as a service-based application. The second one is flexibility. AWS enable you to select the operating system, programming language, web application platform, database, and other services you need. With AWS, you receive a virtual environment that lets you load the software and services your application requires. This also ease the migration process for existing application while preserving options for building a new solution. The third one is the cost effectiveness. You pay only for the compute power, the storage and other resources you use with no long-term contract or upfront commitment. The fourth one is reliability. With your AWS, you take advantage of scalability, reliability, and secure global computing infrastructure. The fifth one is scalability, scalable and high performance. Using AWS tools like auto scaling and elastic load balancing, application can scale up or down based on demand, backed by Amazon massive infrastructure. You have access to compute and storage resources when you need them. Then the last, secure. With your AWS utilizes an end-to-end approach to secure your infrastructure, include physical, operational, and software measure. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much for that, Titi Layo. Thanks for giving us those insights. So we're going to be moving on back to Insika again, just to take another question. So basically, this question is around how can organization migrate from on-premise data center to AWS without losing data? So very important question there, Insika. Thank you.
Thank you, Mohammed. Yes, AWS is helping thousands of organizations to migrate significant workload to the cloud. Like people normally say, the experience is the best teacher. Based on years of experience, AWS has built a complete and proven approach for migrating workloads to AWS so that the organization can gain business faster. So they have a system that works. It's not about talking. They have done it many years of experience. So you can see AWS has migration solution and structure that address the organization so that they will know what to do. The process of how the organization works, more than what the technology organization has, the assessment, the readiness where the organization is ready, the security, most important, the security, and the planning throughout the migration journey to ensure that organization achieve the desired business outcome, that losing data, very, very important, that losing data or having errors. So, and also bring a kind of a method or tools and expert that will make the migration journey faster and secure. So they have all whatever you need, they all have support, whatever you need. They will now kind of brief you the process one after the other, step by step, and so that they must be 100% sure that this process is going to be successful. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you very much for that, Insika. I mean, experience is the best teacher, certainly. And in ICT, it's very important that you consult with organizations just to make sure that you are making the right decisions, and also you're not putting your business at risk, right? So moving on now back to Titi Layo, we're going to be asking the question around, can my data be stored locally? And I think this is a very important question especially for data localization. Thank you.
Thank you, Mohammed. My data be stored locally. My answer is yes and no. On AWS, we only have one data center in Africa, which is based in South Africa. So if you're in South Africa, yes, your data can be stored locally. But right here in Nigeria for now, no, because there's no data center. Thank you, Mohammed.
Okay, thank you for that. And I think that we can begin to look at solutions like AWS Outposts. So AWS Outpost is an instance of AWS that you can install within your premises. And that maybe through your configuration, you might be able to achieve on-site storage. But at the same token as well, the way the AWS Outpost work is that it still needs to synchronize, to a central location as well to get its updates, especially updates on services. So what you can probably do is that you can say, sure, my services, get them from the cloud or from the central locations, which is managed by AWS, and then my databases or any of my data, store it locally. So those are some of the things that you can do. Or you can even elect to have your backup also being stored in one of the availability zones. So yeah, so thanks for that. So moving on to the next question. So Titi, you're back again to answer this question. Can organization data be secured in the cloud? Or can the organization data be secured in the cloud? So I think this question is mainly speaking towards security, because this is a very big concern for most organizations as they consider going to cloud. Whether we like it or not, we are already all on the cloud somehow, one form or the other, either through the services that we provide to our client directly, or through the services that we also consume indirectly as well. We, like, for example, if you're using Gmail, Yahoo, you're already on the cloud, and your information, you don't even know where your information is stored. So, but you know that it works very well for you. You can access your email, and then you can continue to do your business. So, in this case, I'll just hand over now to Titi to answer this question around security, right? Thank you.
Mohammed, once again, can the organization data be secured in the cloud? Yes, yes, yes. Yes, because for you to have any information on the cloud, is how you have a safe net that everything you have is saved. No one can, no matter how, yes, an hacker can be good to inveigh into what you have, but it's an encrypted data that you can, it's not an easy thing to crack into. So, like for the AWS, they have a shared responsibility model. It charges the customer. One of the functions is the customer themselves is responsible for security in the cloud, meaning customers manage their own operating system, network, and their firewalls configuration. It will have to, there's no how a third party can access it. You will be the one, the customer using the AWS will be the one monitoring, insisting the operating system you want, the network, and also the firewalls configuration that would save your system from being hacked. The second one is AWS is responsible for security of the cloud, meaning they provide you with compute, storage, database, networking, and AWS infrastructure. Then they also give you availability zone too. And you have an edge location which will show anything that is happening on the cloud at that particular time. AWS provide a more reliable security solution. So the answer is still yes, because what you have, you are well guided. Nothing can inveigh into your data that is being out. With AWS, you're well guided. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much for that response, Titi. And I would just like to add on that, in the sense that from a security perspective, most of these public cloud providers conform with international standards like your ISO 27001, which is Information Security Management. They also conform to other regulations as well. Around data, around the protections of people's rights and people's data and all that kind of stuff. So, and that makes things a bit safer, because you have a basis to hold them accountable, right? For example, if you look at the United States, for example, they call some of these, software as a service providers like Facebook to, to interrogate them in terms of and to hold them accountable if they found that they are overly abusing the powers that they do have, especially with data. As we know, data is very important. Data can do magic, data can dance, data can sing, data can make you happy, data can make you sad. So data is really, really driving human emotions and driving human endeavors, right? And I think the cloud platform, because they have the money and the experience, they are able to build, array of security around their perimeters, right? And also they have seen a lot of cases, right? Every day, millions of or thousands of cases, that they have to deal with. So that makes the system reinforced, right? Reinforced. If somebody tries to enter your house, you will see the loophole, and then you will reinforce it with more concrete or more things, because you now know the vulnerability, right? Because if one person know it, maybe somebody else can figure it out if you don't block it. But as you block that, there will be more exposure again that you need to continuously reinforce, and you have to think in the mind of the people that have the intention to cause harm, right? Or the intention to cause harm to your data. So we are going to be moving on now to another question, and this is going to go towards Anabet. So what are the benefits of migrating to AWS cloud? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mohammed, and to all the panelists so far. It's been a great time. So what are the benefits? I believe all the benefits, all the things we've been talking about so far are great benefits of AWS. So I would say one of the strongest one is management. Management, because you can easily manage your infrastructure on the go. Different ways to manage the AWS. You can manage through the CLI the CLI. You can manage through the web console, or you can also manage through the API of whatever application API that you are plugging into. This is very important because you don't want to run an infrastructure where it's only when you are in the office that's when you can manage it. Also, because this platform has, as Mohammed said there, and they've seen so many types of attacks. They've improved on the level of security, how to secure and protect your account. So there are different levels of security, different levels of the authentication that you can implement to make sure that while working remotely, you are still able to secure your infrastructure. Because even at this point in time, it's no longer leisure. It's required that your employees and your customers are able to access your service from anywhere around the world. Also, because AWS invests so much in infrastructure and then securing it, whatever new update that is available or whatever new service that is available, are just able to plug it into your infrastructure with not so much configuration. Let's say like you're an e-commerce site, or you are running one service or the other, and then one of the latest products that AWS just launched, which is the chatbot, which is the chatbot that enables you interact more with your customers, and then enables you attend more agile with your customers' requirements. Now, for you to plug that in, it's just within the click of buttons, and then you've already integrated it to your already available platform. So I believe with all this, they have the developers, they have the IT engineers that is able to support you. Also, they have 24 hours support team on ground to assist you. Also, with partners like us, also you have that real-time support that if you have any challenges, rather than you just running things on your own and then handling all those guesswork. So I believe those are some of the advantages. Also, cost management. Also, those are the advantages of moving and migrating your workload to AWS. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that, for just highlighting the benefits, of migrating to AWS or migrating your workload to AWS. As they always say, police is your friend, right? But also, there's a counter talk from a technology perspective that technology is also your friend. But even though you have a friend in technology or you have a friend in police, whatever example you decide to take home, right, you will realize that you still need to understand the pros and cons, right, of that friendship, right? Where it will work for you in your own scenarios, or where it will not work for you. So technology is your friend, and you need to invest in learning those technology. That's number one. You also need to invest in consulting or working with partners like Annabeth has mentioned, be it virtual formatics or any partner that you feel comfortable with, to helping you understand that decision that you're trying to make, right? And just to make sure that you make the appropriate decision. So technology is your friend, but it could also be your enemy if you utilize it incorrectly, right? Because it can also, as we used to say, frustrate you as well if you don't use it appropriately. So moving on now to the Q&A. Please, if you're on the call and you have any questions that you would like to ask, please feel free to chat it on the Q&A section. Also, feel free to contact us, appropriately as well if you need more information about some of the things that we are doing. Also, follow our Facebook page and LinkedIn page to follow some of the interesting webinars that are coming up, in the following week. So we have a question here around in view of government regulations that requires data to be within Nigeria. How many MDAs in the Federal Republic of Nigeria leverage on the features of AWS in their technology deployment? So here I would give a response, and I'll call on a fellow panelist to shed some more light. So just starting from just saying that, yeah, it is important that we consider data localization. What it does is that it makes also the local businesses strive, right? So we have local cloud providers like Cloudflex. We have providers that are also deployed locally, and those can be considered from that perspective. But from an AWS perspective, I mentioned earlier around AWS Outpost, you could consider deploying the physical infrastructure. So what AWS have done is that because they have years of experience in the hardware, the software, the hypervisor, the orchestration, everything around the cloud, the self-service portal, they have developed almost like an expertise in setting up end-to-end infrastructure. So they have come up with AWS Outpost that you can implement on-premises to keep the data local while still enjoying the benefit of you using an AWS infrastructure if you're already used to AWS, right? So that's on the one. From a government perspective as well, you could look at also investing in some of this technology, just even from a research and development perspective as well. Because one of the things that the Chinese probably do very well is they do a lot of research and development, right? So that means they learn technology. They even send people abroad to learn technology. The reason why that happens is that they want to come back and look at their own application locally at home and how they can adjust it to the content that fit them, right? Or the context that fit them. So we should not be shy in engaging. Government should not be shy in engaging with some of this technology. You just need to find a way to engage with some of this technology, right? So in terms of data localization, I think my only suggestion is that we can look at AWS Outpost, or we can look at a number of methodology in terms of design. What are they trying to achieve? What services are they trying to provide to those MDAs? We also know that a number of companies also like Galaxy also provides services to the government, and we just need to see what is their exact requirement and then to then guide them appropriately. But on another point is as well, learning is also very important, because even before you make a decision, you got to understand this various technology. You got to invest in people that will take some time to invest in this technology. I know that there's a lot of content online and all that, but sometimes you also need, services from the learning space or any from the learning space to be able to, put you in the right direction, especially customize the training, for your own for your own purpose. So at this juncture, I would just like to call on Anabiet to just shed give it another perspective to this particular question. Thank you.
So thank you. I believe, Mohammed, you've covered quite a lot as regards data localization. Most laws might just be centered around your database not being outside. So if that's the case, you can look at getting your services from AWS, but then your database can be local. Also, as I mentioned earlier on, if it's a strict industry that every service, everything has to be local, then you can consider a local cloud platform. We have several local cloud platforms that are doing well, and CloudFlex happens to be one of them. Also, I believe Mohammed has covered all as regards the instance that you can run locally. I believe. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much for that insight. So it is important that we look at the context of the business and come up with solutions that can empower the citizens of Nigeria and also the citizens of Africa and the globe. And I think that this technology exposes us to ideas, gives us that openness to explore various solutions. So at this juncture, I would like to thank everyone for for coming today. So you can find our information in the preceding slide. You can contact us, reach out to us for if you need any of our services. You could follow us also on our Facebook and LinkedIn pages, just to make sure that you are up to speed with what we're doing. Thank you again for your time, and thank you for being on the call. Thanks to the panelists for sharing their insights. As they say, in learning you would teach, and in teaching you would learn. So it is good that we were able to share their own perspective. As you can see, Insika spoke about his passion around around availability of services, business continuity, making sure that your SLAs, your service level agreements, are met all the time. You don't disappoint your clients, and your clients are happy, especially if you are providing critical services. Titi spoke about how AWS can benefit your organization, even from an innovation perspective as well. Aniebet was able to take us through a presentation around just giving us the value proposition and the power of AWS from an introduction perspective, and we've had a number of engagement as well from the rest of the panelist members. So again, thank you. Thanks for your questions. Thanks for being on the call here. At this juncture, I would like to wish you a happy day further. Thank you very much. Cheers.